So one more thing we got this week, which is the deep research by OpenAI. So I will take you quickly through what they announced about deep research. I don't have access to it yet. When I do that, I'll be able to really showcase what it can do, but we have a glimpse into it. They have shared examples of what kind of prompts you can give it and what kind of output you should expect. It's now available only for Pro users. For Plus and Teams users, it's coming later on. They didn't give an exact date, but we'll have to wait and see. The thing I wanted to showcase today before actually going to the deep search paper or page on OpenAI is that this thing already exists. So they didn't create something out of the blue that no one else was already doing. And there's so many ways to go about these kind of agentic research agents, if that's the way to call it. And I'll show you some of them, at least how I used to do it. I do it and I use it in my automations, in my systems that I run, and some of the companies that are leading the way before OpenAI in doing that. So when I have access to the actual deep research by OpenAI, I will definitely do a video where I pin it against those companies or businesses that have been doing this for longer.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel, The Mic.
If we look at the screen, you can see this is the deep research paper or page by OpenAI. But before we go here, let's start with Gemini. So Gemini has always had one model which is dedicated to deep research. Now, I will not complicate things here. I'm going to just click one of these standard inputs and show you the kind of thing that Gemini Deep Research 1.5 Pro model does with these kind of requests. So here it has a research AI campaigns. So let me just click it and see the kind of research it will do and the results it will get us. So we'll click at it. So basically it auto-prompted, help me research recent AI-powered marketing campaigns to benchmark for 2025 planning. So it will take its sweet time in searching online sources, vetting them, assessing them, and you can see here it's researching websites. So I will get the chance here to say, yeah, go ahead with that, or maybe I edit my plan or edit the prompt or what exactly I wanted to search for, which is a solid step. Honestly, this is a human in the loop type of operation where I get the chance to modify things before it starts executing. So I'll hit start research, and now it will go to these sources. It will get the content, it will feed it back to the AI model, and it will go in certain loops, I assume, and it will give you a final results. I've tried this before. It is really high quality. So I'll have to work with the ChatGPT one when I get access to really assess if OpenAI has something ahead of Google. Again, I will always assume that Google should top the list when it comes to this exact feature, because no one, in my opinion, should have the ability and the accessibility that Google already has within their systems. And if we scroll down, you can see that it is adding more and more resources that it is looking through to get us an answer. So we'll have to wait for it to complete its work so we can see the type of result that we get. And while it is doing that, I'm going to move to the other big players in this domain while this completes, and we'll go back to it. So you'll have to stick around and just wait until we get the results so we can just quickly skim through them to assess high level the quality of what we get out of this model from Google Gemini. And the other player, which should be obvious enough, this is Perplexity. And now Perplexity just did a revamp to their platform, to their models. And today we have 4 big players or 4 big models that they deal with. So they definitely made really good use of DeepSeek reasoning model, and they have it on premise, and they gave everyone, this is on premise. So basically we're not using the DeepSeek that is in China. They actually downloaded that model to offer it to their customers. So that's an open source model and they're using it now. So they offered their consumers through API and directly through the interface Sonar Reasoning Pro and Sonar Reasoning. If we read the description below Sonar Reasoning Pro, it says Premier Reasoning Offering powered by DeepSeek R1. So sample prompt, and then you can read more about it. But this is essentially a model that will do more reasoning with the data it collects from online sources that the engine of Perplexity already is good at. Now, Sonar Reasoning, this is a lightweight reasoning offering powered by reasoning models trained with DeepSeek R1. So from this, actually, the difference between them could be that Sonar Reasoning is using some of the distilled models and not the R1 exact model. So that's interesting. If we scroll down, we get the Sonar Pro and Sonar. So the Sonar Pro is a premium search offering with search grounding, supporting advanced queries and follow-ups. And here, this one probably will use models like GPT-4o and similar. Sonar, the standard one, again, is a lightweight offering with search grounding quicker and cheaper than Sonar Pro. Again, so these are APIs I honestly use a lot in my automations and my flows that I need, and I'll show you one example where you can actually build what OpenAI did for yourself. But what OpenAI offered is still interesting. It can make my life much easier when it comes to automations. I can make them really lightweight but more effective potentially. I can do that today with having access to Perplexity and using services or models like Sonar Pro or Sonar Reasoning Pro, which I started using the day they offered this, which was actually a week back. So this is a really recent update from Perplexity itself. Now, one other way you can do what OpenAI actually is trying to launch is building your own agent system. So this is what I do. So you can see here the screen. And this, I know it looks complex. If you want a video about building such a flow of agents to work for you and get your results really tailored to your needs. So this has things beyond researching online, and I'll show you in a second. But what I want to show you out of this today is that you can build these things today for yourself. So if you don't want to wait for deep research to come, you can use this. You can build something like that. If you don't want to go through this headache, you can definitely today go and start using either Perplexity or using the Google model for deep research. So this is a YouTube coach I created for my needs for creating content. It's a coach that an agent basically that has access to all my documentation, all my databases, all my notes, everything I do on YouTube, it has access to, including my actual YouTube channel and YouTube as a platform. So it's an agent that does deep research on my use case or for my specific needs. And one of them is the internet. So if you see here, there's what is called a supervisor node. So this is the boss basically of that team. And you have here workers. These are agents. So every one of these workers has a specific task. And if I zoom in, you can see there's a timekeeper agent. Basically, this is the worker that keeps telling everyone else, today is this date or this time. Sometimes you need that to get relevant or recent information from the internet or from YouTube. Then I have the performance analyst agent, historical data specialist, external trends researcher. So this is the agent that goes to the internet, goes to YouTube to search for trends for me to feed me back that intelligence or that information. You also have the content ideation researcher. So it will do just ideation, content from the internet, content from YouTube, looks at trends, at views of different videos, looks at my niche, at historic performance of my video, and then comes back and tells me, you know what, avoid this topic, or you know what, you can do this topic, it probably will work well. And then I have a scriptwriter agent and a strategic reasoning agent. So this strategic reasoning agent basically is having access to a reasoning model, which is DeepSeek R1, and can take all of the outputs of all of the other workers or agents and send it to DeepSeek R1 and tell it, here is all the information I have for you from the internet, from YouTube, from my YouTube channel, everything else, from my own database. Please reason through that data and tell me what is the strategy I should go with depending on the prompt. So the strategy for a specific video, specific topic, or the next topic, ideation, whatever my prompt is, it will do that for me. I will actually show you a quick glimpse of how it works. So if I hit the chat here, I can actually clear it for a second to get a fresh one. And then I will make it bigger. So I hope it's very clear here. I have standard starter prompts. Those are just standard prompts for easy access. I have them ready always. If I want to ask a quick thing, these are things I prompt regularly. So just a standard thing when you have a chat with an AI agent. So let me go with the first one and we'll see how it responds and the kind of quality that we get out of that response. So let me click at it. So I asked the question, do a research on YouTube, my YouTube channel performance, a historic video for me, and tell me what are the top trending topics within the AI niche today to create YouTube video for. So you can see already the supervisor is giving instructions to the agents. The agents will start working, thinking about it, using some of these tools to go to the internet, to go to my YouTube, to do a YouTube search, and then I will get some kind of response. Again, this is not the final one, so this is one of the agents' response. It will keep, the supervisor will keep passing those responses worker to worker or agent to agent, sometimes asking an agent to do a job twice, and then eventually it will give me the final response based on everything. Now, depending on the settings, I just want the agent responses. I can actually activate the tool result. So basically I can ask it, I want to have the actual query result from YouTube search. So if you went to YouTube, I want to see the results from that API call. I don't need that here. I can actually follow up in a question. If something is interesting, I'll tell it, can you give me a specific video that is #1 today, or when it comes to the AI niche? It will give me the link to that video. I can go and watch it. And potentially I can add more and more tools to do much more with this. Now, I know this seems a little bit off when it comes to deep research, but the point I want to get across is you can build something today to your needs exactly, which can focus on deep research for online. So you can have many researchers defined in such a flow working for you, using different platform, different access to different things on the internet or off the internet as like a database, for example. And it might get you more fine-tuned results to what you're looking for. So here I have the final answer, and you can see it's a really robust answer. It's a detailed one, and you can see the tools that were used to get me this answer. And it will break down the generative AI breakthrough, text, image, video. So these are like the high topics, general topics it's looking at. You can see here it's even referring, highlighting innovation like Devin AI, an AI software engineer, the rumors surrounding GPT-5, and concepts like self-operating AI workflows. And I thought it's worthwhile to show you that what OpenAI put forward is something that people already are working with, using things like Flowise. So this is the Flowise platform. And if you are interested for a video on how to create this or my specific workflow, I'm more than happy to do that. Write me a comment in the comment section. One more thing before we go check out the Google results and then go back to actually seeing the highlights of the OpenAI deep research is doing it through automation. So if you follow me for some time, you know I'm a big Zapier user. So I use lots of automations that gets me either scripts, results to make my life much easier when it comes to my YouTube. I'm a full-time employee at the end of the day. I'm an executive in a Fortune 500 business. So I barely have hours a day, like an hour or two at night, to do some work on my YouTube and record these videos. So I need automations to do nearly 90% of things for me, or 99% of things for me. So this is one of them where I put an idea, it will go online, do a research for me, get everything I need in terms of sources, the resources, and digest it all in a script, points, gap in the coverage. So basically it will tell me this is the areas that other creators didn't cover, and potentially it will help make your video unique. This is what others are covering already on the topic, and so forth. So this is another way of getting your deep research without having deep research of OpenAI. And here I use automations that go to Perplexity. So this is one of them. This is just the API body of Perplexity, and you can see here dynamic fields. So I just manage my automations differently to make them always smart. So if I want to change anything when it comes to my usage of AI models, I have a database to manage that. My automations automatically get upgraded. I have a video on the topic, you can look it up on my channel, of how to manage your AI automations in a smart way. But basically, this is a Perplexity request. It will go to the Sonar Pro model, and it will get me the results I want with even citations. So I know the links this is coming from. I even do a search to get results from Reddit and X, which are usually, when it comes to AI and automation, these topics, it's always good to go to these platforms to see what people are saying there. And I scrape sometimes the cited content. I have everything, all the knowledge from X, internet, from the websites I scraped for that information. I even do a YouTube search. So you can see here, I have the YouTube search step here. So I go to YouTube, give it keywords, get the websites like best performing in a topic that I'm looking for here. And then I do a transcript pull from these YouTube videos that I get out of YouTube. So it will do the search for me. It will get me links of these videos that are really relevant to my content. I will get those transcripts and I'll get all of that information I pulled from the internet, from X, from Reddit, from YouTube. I'll upload it to a file. So you can see this is a ChatGPT upload I created obviously in Google Drive. And then I upload it to ChatGPT. And then I have a conversation with an assistant referring to the file that I just uploaded, which has all the information. And then you can see here, this is my YouTube coach. When I get everything, I have the results I need, I will just send the last message to my YouTube coach. This is, by the way, the assistant I just showed you. It's the same flow. You can access that through API with Flowwise. So I send it, hey, by the way, I did this research. I'm working on this video. Give me like the strategy around this. What do I need to do differently from what I already have? It will get me access to the reasoning model or the reasoning aspect of things. So it will go there, get me the response, and everything will come back to me in the Notion database. All of this is happening through Notion. So I get the YouTube URLs of competing videos. I will get a script made by the assistant, the ChatGPT assistant. I'll get inputs from my coach, and then just jumping to starting and recording the video. So everything is done for me. All of that research is done for me. So there's so many ways to do this thing. So let's go back to Gemini and see what we got as a result. And then just we'll spend a little time just to see what's different, what's unique, what's special in the deep research by OpenAI. So here it's done. So the research by the deep research 1.5 Pro model in Google is done. And amazing thing is, already the result of that research is in a Google document that I can just click a button here and open. And you can see AI powered marketing in 2024, a benchmarking report for 2025 planning. And you can see this is a really detailed, robust research with tables, with details, amazing quality of work. And even at the end, you get all the references, all the sources that were part of that research. For me, this is the benchmark between what Gemini has to offer when it comes to deep research and then Perplexity. I would put Gemini as number one and the Perplexity a strong number two. So where OpenAI will fall, that's a question that I will test with you when I get access to the tool. But for now, let's jump to what OpenAI told us about the model. And I'm sure others who have a pro membership will do these reviews on YouTube, so you can look for that. But let's go here. I'm going to just highlight the important parts that they talked about in this page that they published a couple of days back. So let's scroll down. There are some visuals or videos showcasing how it works, so you can check those out. So let's just give it a quick read to the important parts only. So today we're launching deep research in ChatGPT, a new agentic capability that conducts multi-step research on the internet for complex tasks. It accomplishes in tens of minutes what would take a human many hours. Off the gate, they're telling you it could take minutes in terms of work. And I've seen in the demos they've done, it takes sometimes 6 minutes. So it's not something that will happen in seconds. And you've seen with the Google Deep Research, it didn't happen in seconds. It took it minutes to give me the results I just showed you. So these type of deep research kind of concepts are beyond, when it comes to research, beyond what you can build on your own, like the things I've built. But that's something you'd expect for these companies to have much powerful agents built for these kind of tools that they offer to their customers. So let's go to this one. Deep Research is OpenAI's next agent that can do work for you independently. Again, I'm focusing on the word agent. They said 2025 is going to be the year of agents for OpenAI, and we're seeing that more and more. You give it a prompt and ChatGPT will find, analyze, and synthesize hundreds of online sources to create a comprehensive report at the level of research analyst. So as if you have your own research analysts working for you. So powered by a vision of the upcoming OpenAI O3 model that's optimized for web browsing and data analysis. It leverages reasoning to research, interpret, and analyze massive amounts of text, images, and PDFs on the internet, pivoting as needed in reaction to information it encounters. So it pivots, basically it changes its strategies to what's looking for depending on what it is getting. So again, a quick thing on why they built this deep research. So deep research is built for people who do intensive knowledge work in areas like finance, science, policy, and engineering, and need thorough, precise, and reliable research. It can be equally useful for discerning shoppers looking for hyper-personalized recommendations on purchases that typically require careful research, like cars, appliances, and furniture. So it's interesting. So it is something that businesses definitely can use, or people, individuals in businesses, but also you can use it as a personal kind of helper or supporter or analyst to do online research on something you want to buy. So definitely that's a huge and important use case. I tend to spend good amount of time researching things I want to buy. Deep research frees up valuable time by allowing you to offload and expedite complex, time-intensive web research with just one query. So one query, you get everything you're looking for. Deep research independently discovers reasons about and consolidates insights from across the web. To accomplish this, it was trained on real-world tasks requiring browser and Python tool use, using the same reinforcement learning methods behind OpenAI o1, our first reasoning model. While o1 demonstrates impressive capability in coding, math, and other technical domains, many real-world challenges demand extensive context and information gathering from diverse online sources. Deep research builds on these reasoning capabilities to bridge that gap, allowing it to take on the types of problems people face in work and everyday life. Now, the interesting thing here in this paragraph, they talk about o1 as if it's something of the past, and we've seen o3 mini, and my video is there if you want to look into detail into that model, that even OpenAI themselves say it beats o1 when it comes to reasoning, especially in coding, math, and science. So that's an interesting one. The other interesting fact that this is a model. So this is not the kind of thing that I showed you I built myself. It doesn't work that way. It's not an automation or agents actually just simply working in the background. It is actually a model or an agentic model trained for this use case. So specifically trained using the knowledge they have when it comes to reasoning and other things. It went through reinforcement learning just to do this kind of deep research work. So that will make it definitely much better than things you can build yourself. While those, again, I repeat, are valid if you have a very niche and unique case, you can do that. Deep research may take anywhere between 5 to 30 minutes to complete its work, taking the time needed to dive deep into the web. In the meantime, you can step away or work on other tasks. You'll get notification once the research is complete. The final output arrives as a report within the chat. In the next few weeks, we will also be adding embedded images, data visualizations, and other analytic outputs in these reports for additional clarity and context. So this is an interesting one. It takes quite amount of time, a minimum of 5 minutes, and it could take up to 30 minutes to complete the work. And it will give you a notification. I assume that will happen through the mobile app if you have it, and the browser. So you just let it running. You go do your thing, you'll get a notification when it's complete. And they're saying in the future, we're going to get more into the analytics of that research. So you might get charts and pie charts and all of these kind of visuals that help you have quick context and better understanding of whatever it gathers during that research. So here, if you keep scrolling in this page, which I'll link in the description, you can see there are different areas that they tested the deep research on, and if you click at any of them, you can see some of these cases and you can see what is the prompt and then what is the deep research response. I think that's an interesting thing to spend time on. I looked at a couple and it's impressive. I'll have to yet test it myself to really pin it against Google. I think the Google one is #1 so far, but we'll have to test it for ourselves and make a decision. How it works. This is also an interesting part I wanted just to quickly showcase to you. So deep research was trained using end-to-end reinforcement learning on hard browsing and reasoning tasks across a range of domains. Through that training, it learned to plan and execute a multi-step trajectory to find the data it needs, backtracking and reacting to real-time information where necessary. The model is also able to browse over user-uploaded files, plot and iterate on graphs using the Python tool, embed both generated graphs and images from websites in its responses, and cite specific sentences or passages from its sources. As a result of this training, it reaches new heights on a number of public evaluations focused on real-world problems. Again, OpenAI is a closed source. They just give you the highlight of how they built it. It doesn't tell us anything. Now let's look at some of the interesting benchmarks they've done. Now let's start with the humanities last exam. I mentioned this in the past as a benchmark. It's super complex questions that actually is a very recent thing that came out, which simply put, in my opinion, is just another benchmark to keep pace with how smart these models are getting. So for example, ChatGPT 4.0, which is a really smart model. I don't dismiss it. So for everyday life, probably 4.0 is one of the best models to use. It got on this one 3.3% accuracy. And jumping all of the way to deep research, we have 26.6%. Just to put this into context, the best, mightiest reasoning model, quote unquote, based on how OpenAI is ranking it here, we have OpenAI O3 Mini High, so the high reasoning, at 13%. So this is slightly more than the double of the best reasoning model out there in the results on this benchmark. So that's super interesting. Again here, Gaia, so this is another benchmark. So this is one benchmark that requires all of the tools that such a model has access to that probably other models don't. So you can look through the reasoning part of this, and you can look through more details around some of these charts, examples on how the deep research model works, and it will give you all the answers. You can also go and watch the video they actually used to launch the deep research product. And then before we close on this, you need to understand the limitations of this model. Without reading the paragraph, still it's an AI model. You have to remember that it is still hallucinating sometimes. It is still getting the right information, but putting it out in the wrong way. So when it goes out, people should be super careful when they use this feature. It might disguise its ability to actually give you 100% accurate information. Because it looks super sophisticated, people might get the notion or the idea that it doesn't hallucinate like other models. You will have to question and cross-check everything you get out of these AI models, regardless how good they are. We're not there yet where you can trust it 100%, and I would say you never should put your mind in a place where you 100% trust AI. So this is a big limitation that you should really understand and digest when you approach using these tools. And now again, they cover something around the access, and they wrap up the page. I'm gonna put the link for this in the description for you to go and read it at your own pace. So tell me what you think in the comment section. Are you doing some kind of your own deep research automation or flows using some other tools that are out there like I do and I showed you? Do you prefer Perplexity or do you prefer Google Deep Research? Where do you think this model will fall? I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got value out of it. If you did, please don't forget to like, share the video with others if you really like it, and if you found real good value, do not forget to subscribe and give me a comment. That is really valuable for my channel. Thank you and have a good day.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.